Lorcana Locals!
Marvelous! Fight!
Okay, first game, first match, here we go, and I actually do remember what deck I was running. So, I'm running a Ruby Amethyst deck, basically featuring a bunch of cards from Shimmering Skies, because I wanted to test some new tech out. And I built this deck because I generally thought it was a good idea. So I ink the brand new Shift Archimedes, play out the Cogsworth, give him Rush, and attack into nothing. But I do love this Cogsworth, a 1-1, 4-1, 1-drop that gives any character Rush. It can also be himself, which is pretty nice. But Connor has out Cinderella. Cinderella sings Let the Storm Rage On, which it does, wipes out the Cogsworth, immediately controlling the board, and lays out another Cinderella and a Robin Hood. The board is already looking quite scary. With that in mind, it goes back to my turn, and this is why I still don't like Amber Steel Song. But it's a top level meta deck for a reason, right? And Connor is one of the better players that we have at our locals. So it is always it's a great time playing with Connor, and I keep learning new things every time that I play against anyone, really. But yeah, I'm terrified. I'm really terrified. On my turn, I only play out a Medallion Weight, hoping for card draw later on. Connor is setting up his board even more with an Aerial, searching for World's Greatest Criminal Mind, going into the hand there. Just organising the cards going to the bottom of the deck to fully resolve the effect in its entirety. There we go. World's Greatest Criminal Mind in hand, and with that in mind, Big Questaroo going up by the 3, and there we go. Connor on the board to start things off. Back to my turn. Medallion waits out, already panicking that I'm behind on that crazy board state with a lot of control potential, and now being able to sing songs up to 5 cost, which in Steel basically means grab your sword. Oh no. Or Along Came Zeus, which is another oh no. So, I'm not in a good stint right now. Connor's got 3 cards in his hand, but for Amber Steel Song, absolutely fine. It's never a problem. I am now struggling to think, okay, what can I actually do here to help me? Because with a board that strong, double Cinderella plus an Aerial, youch. This is not looking good pour moi. But I ink the second Medallion Weights. I don't really need the second one as long as I have one out on board to effectively take advantage of it. I then Cogsworth, pay the 1, give Cogsworth Rush, give him the Medallion Weights trigger, so now that turns him into a 3-1, and we're going to rush him. Do I hit one of the Cinderellas? Of course I do. Sacrifice for Cogsworth, get an additional card draw through Medallion Weights. Hopefully that'll help me out, but that is literally all I can do. There is a glaring flaw with my deck when I was playing around with it for these 3 games that you're going to see throughout this session of locals that I did record. The big glaring issue that I have with this deck, was it experimental? Of course. But I had some quirky tech in there that I was quite proud of. Only there was one big problem, and the big problem was I have no reliable way to really exert my opponent's board, and all of my characters are focused on attacking directly. So, bit of a warning, but we'll get into that a lot more later on in the later games. In this game, it wasn't as prevalent at this moment in time. But yes, Connor brings out the Sonic Warrior Aerial, manages to sing out A Whole New World, which means a full hand discard and a full hand redraw, resulting in me having to get rid of one of my Be Prepareds, which is a bit upsetting, because you're damn right that I'll be happy, but am I going to use it this early on when I only have 3 ink? No. Just no. I don't run singers in Ruby Amethyst. What do you mean? Because, well, there aren't any. The singer keyword is mostly for Amber. And basically, if you're running Amber and you're not running songs, what are you doing? Simple as that. But how is it going to go on my turn? No board, just a Medallion waits out. I ink another shifting Archimedes, which I swear we'll see play at some point. I don't know when, but at some point. Hopefully, at some point it will see play. Still, another pretty scary board. And the thing to remember is that Sonic Warrior Aerial has the effect where if you have played a song this turn, you can pay so much ink to then effectively gain, well, deal damage to the board or a character on the board, which is quite scary. So I do the only thing that I can do with my hand, which is a double Imperial Proclamation with the Queen. Play out the Queen, she has rush into Cinderella, get rid of Cinderella. I have 2 procs of Imperial Proclamation out on the board, which then allows me to shift into the bigger Queen of Hearts for absolutely nothing. So it was a play, I liked it. Is Queen of Hearts going to stay on the board for a while? No. You could probably assume not. I mean, Ariel can easily get rid of her with her effect alone. Robin Hood, if Robin Hood shifted into Big Boy Robin Hood, that's absolutely fine. And then Connor would also get the benefit of a +2 lore gain. Basically, my hand was trash. And I look back at the games now, the deck had a good idea behind it, do not get me wrong. But without having the cards in there to exert opposing characters or do anything along those lines for a little bit of additional control, it lacked. It did lack. So here we are, plays another Aerial on Connor's side of the board, gets a Bare Necessities, a simple Bare Necessities, and I will have no need to forget about my worries or my stride. Or at least I hope so. Has 2 ink on board. This could mean a aerial effect trigger. We're going to see. No, Robin Hood swinging into a Queen. Trades out with Robin Hood. Means the Queen is gone. And then we're just going to have a look and see what happens here. Pays for 1. Plays out another Cinderella. Big singer girl. There is the Sonic Warrior Aerial questing for 2. An additional +2 for Connor. Fantastic turn on his part. Back to me. Double Imperial Proclamation. Medallion waits. I'm ready for some attacking. I just need something to do something. Please! I need something to do something. I ink one of my mims because, well, nothing on the board. There's no point doing the mim tech. Absolutely not. Here's me with 2 cards in hand wondering, what do I do against this monstrous board? And it's hard. It's very hard. It's hard against Amber Steel Song on a good day. At least for me. I haven't gone against this matchup enough to really know my best strategies going into it. I know one key thing about Amber Steel Song though. Don't flood your board. Don't do it. But yet again, Amber Steel Song is a control deck anyway, so even if you did want to flood your board, you're probably not going to win. It's just a hard deck to go against. It's not impossible. It's one of those decks where you need to out-control the control, and whoever out-controls the other first prevails. And I've had those matchups a lot where I've played control versus control, and they've either been the same colours or in different colours, and it's literally a matter of if my control engine can control your control engine before you can control my engine, then I'm in control and we like control. So a lot of control. And I'm out of control. There's Bare Necessities. Do I have a non-character card? I do indeed. It is for Queen's Castle. Big hit. Big sadness. And then the effect will trigger from Sonic Warrior Aerial, which will get rid of the Archimedes, which was in the sky, ready to go. Sad times. I'm just not having a good time. This is all Connor's game. So here we go. I hope you're liking the look of Amber Steel Song, because bearing in mind, this was Amber Steel Song at the very early stages of Shimmering Skies. This is literally the first week of locals since Shimmering Skies came out, and I believe Connor did tell me that in his Amber Steel Song deck at this moment in time, I don't think he had a lot of new Shimmering Skies cards in here, if at all, because I didn't think he had time to, so this is technically set for Amber Steel Song. And this is bearing in mind I'm running in a highly experimental deck. And yeah, it's just one of those cases, isn't it? One of those cases. But that is an absolutely monstrous board on Connor's side of the field. 2 Singer 5 aerials, a Singer 3 Cinderella, and a Sonic Warrior aerial as well. How much more control can you have? Well, it's hard to tell. The only thing that would make it killer is if Connor had out on the board like an Alan Adale, where every time you play a song you get 1 lore. That would be quite cool. But like I said, I believe at this moment in time Connor didn't have a chance to update anything. If Connor's watching this, hi Connor by the way, thank you for the games. If you want to clarify in chat, in the comments, feel free to. So for me, I play out the Queen of Hearts, give Queen of Hearts the medallion weights, so she turns into a 4-2, bash into one of the aerials, trade, double proc on Imperial Proclamation, so I do have 2 cost reduction on something, but I can't play anything. Legitimately, that was my entire turn. You can tell where I'm struggling, people. This is not good. But I always think it's always a good thing to share the games that you lose as well as you win. Because you get to look back at, did I misplay, or was it just a simple case of I did not have the answers to anything out on the board. And on top of that, you get to see your opponent's decks playing as crazily as they do. Connor questing for even more there, an extra 2-3-4. Going up even more plays out a Lawrence. Do not sleep on Lawrence. Lawrence was actually pretty cool. And yeah, look at me, not being able to play anything on my turn. How fun is that? Oh, the joys of it all. And then Connor with the big quest going up by 2, 4, 5, 6, and that'll do it. That'll absolutely do it. I had double Mim in hand with everything else going on. It wasn't happening. Bricking on double Mim is savage. Really, really savage. But that's the game I was playing. Big youchies. Let's move on to game 2. Alrighty, game 2 underway. And since I get to go first because I'm on the loss here, let's see if I can actually play any better, shall we? So we start off by inking a Madam Mim Fox and playing out a card I actually really enjoy. It's Arthur the Sparrow. A 2-4, turn 1 uninkable with Reckless. You may look at this card and think, huh? What? But being able to deal 2 damage on a Reckless character as early as turn 1 may not actually be as bad as you think. And in a deck where you want to be as aggressive as humanly possible as much of the time, not a bad 1-drop. I mean, because of that, Connor can play out Cinderella, and then after turn 2, if Arthur's still out on the board, Arthur can just take out Cinderella and only take 1 damage. And yes, Cinderella can sing a Let the Storm Rage On, for example, but that only deals 2 damage, and Arthur has 4, which on turn 1 is really good. And we've learned how good that is thanks to new cards like the Amber Daisy. And the Amber Daisy, ooh baby. Okay, so back to my turn. We ink the Queen of Hearts Russia, and we then Mim Snake, bring back the Arthur Sparrow, because of course he has Reckless, can't attack, doesn't quest for any lore, is basically there to help get my Mim Snake out. And so now, instead of having a 1-drop 2-4, now I have a 2-drop 3-3, which is really nice. Control the board a little bit better, I have a threat against Cinderella, or even anything else that comes out. Connor lays out an Ursula, which is a Singer 4, I believe. And it's back over to me for my turn. Doesn't quest of anything because of course Mim Snake is a threat. I ink another Mim Snake into the inkwell going up to 3. And on my turn, we're going to pay all 3 because it is time for Imperial Proclamation. Is that Imperial Sorry, the lighting is a little bit all over the place. No, that wouldn't be Imperial Proclamation for 3 cost. That would be Sumerian Talisman. Sumerian Talisman makes it so whenever one of my characters dies on my turn, I get to draw a card. Again, synergizing with the idea of basically doing kamikaze tactics into my opponents. Turn 3, Connor then draws, finding a Grab Your Sword from the aerial 3-drop. Absolutely fine and dandy. Can't sing it straight away because the highest cost that he can sing at the moment is Singer 4, thanks to the Ursula, aka Vanessa. And then it goes back over to my turn, Sumerian Tasman in play, Mim Snake ready to rock, but no targets to hit. And this is where you start seeing the issue that I was talking about during the first game. Without the ability to exert anything on Connor's side of the board, effectively my drops are dead. I can't axe them on my turn, and I can't smack them into anything on my turn, because I have no meaningful way to exert my opponent, which is a giant red flag. And later on my third game, it really got to me. I ended up having a little bit of a mental health hit after the third game, and it wasn't as a result of the games themselves. I had a lot of stresses going in me up until this week, and it was a lot. It was an absolute lot. But I do play out 2 cards. We have Shere Khan, the 3/3 for free. That makes it so whenever I attack, I gain 1 lore. Play out the Arthur Sparrow again, so that's a guaranteed 1 lore as long as he's able to attack every turn. And then I have nothing to do, so I might as well just pass the turn back over to Connor. Connor has Grab Your Sword, now has an entire board in play and is able to sing Grab Your Sword, but the problem is Grab Your Sword will not be able to kill anything because everything has 3 health or more, so Grab Your Sword may be a bit of a dead drop, unless he's able to either do it twice or do a Grab Your Sword followed by Let the Storm Rage On, singing that with maybe the Cinderella. But then you've used 2 of your characters to sing 2 songs, you draw 1 card, you maybe get rid of 1 threat on the board. No, it's Sonic Warrior instead. Do not sleep on Sonic Warrior. I kind of slept on Sonic Warrior for the longest time when it first came out, but no, Sonic Warrior is actually quite clutch. But nothing else happens on Connor's turn, it's back to me. So, back on my turn, still unable to exert anything on Connor's side of the board, and this is where I'm like, I need to be able to do something. And this is where also a misplay happens on my part, a little bit later on. So, as you can tell, I'm flooding the board with a multitude of characters. I'm just trying to get a bunch of characters out there, so as soon as something happens involving Connor's side of the board, I can hopefully just go in and start wrecking face. The problem with that, I'm basically giving Connor the right to just go, okay, here's Grab Your Sword, and just wipe my entire board, leaving me with nothing on board, nothing in hand, and me crying. A huge puddle of tears is now on the board. A 0/0 puddle of tears that costs nothing apart from your own sanity. Maybe. But here we go, Connor's thinking. We've got a bit of a board out, Mim Snake being the only threat on board. He's going to sing, there's the Grab Your Sword, so 2 damage to absolutely everybody. No one dies, because like I said, everyone is either on 3 health or more, including the Arthur Sparrows. So that's 2 damage on absolutely everything, and this is where I'm getting my dice together and getting all the damage out. Gotta love the polyhedral clicky clacks, like I like to call them. And a second Grab Your Sword. It came down to double Grab Your Sword to wipe the board, quest with everyone else to go up to, I believe, 2. I think that's the first time Connor's been able to quest this term. And it's back to me. I now have nothing on board. Sumerian Tasman did not proc because they died on Connor's turn, not on my turn. So, big sadness, big upset. I have Imperial Proclamation, and that's it. That is my entire turn. You gotta love it. You gotta absolutely love it. And by love it, I mean tears pouring from my eyes. But hey ho, it's what happens. This is me analysing that, yeah, probably shouldn't have flooded the board as much as I did. So I at least had a 1-drop Sparrow Arthur to just play out on the board as soon as I was able to. But hey ho, it happens, right? It happens to the best of us. Or in my case, it just happens. That's the way I look at it. So, plays out another aerial, manages to get a hold of a Strength of a Raging Fire, which, as you can imagine, when you have a board of, I'd pretty much say anywhere between 2 to 4 characters, is a fantastic card to play or sing. Being able to deal damage to your opponent equal to the amount of characters you currently have on board. Do really like the card. Big quest on Connor's side of the board, questing for 2, 3, 4, going straight up, which is absolutely fantastic. I draw for my turn, and the sadness is here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I'm able to make a comeback now, and this is the sad part. So I ink an Archimedes, and that's it. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing. The card I have in my hand, you may be able to guess what that card is. And what I want you to do, I want you to put down in the comments what you think that card is. And then when you see that card being played, I want you to comment honestly whether you predicted it correctly or not. Connor on his turn does a very straightforward move. Quest with absolutely everybody. Questing for 4, going up by a big amount, and playing a big Robin Hood boy. So that is a very scary board. Being able to quest for a lot next turn. I'm pretty much counting my chickens now. This is kind of over. And like I said earlier, if I had a way to exert opposing characters as early as turn 2 with like a turn 2 Pinocchio, this may have gone a little bit better, but youch. It's just a big youch. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing on board that I can do. I have to ink another Mim Fox just so I can keep up my inking. You could probably tell where this is going, folkies, and it's not going good, is it? No. Here we go. Connor is having a look at his ink situation. Ink has 5 in play right now. You got the Sonic Warrior Aerial, regular Aerial, Cinderella, Ursula, big questy LaRue with absolutely everybody. That is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 lore on a single turn. Desperation sinks in. I need something. I need something. Do I have it? Do I get it? Do I even use it? I don't even know. Flip back down that Mim Fox because... well, we don't need it. Ink the Archimedes, and yes, I get out my Dr. Facilier. If you guessed correctly, haha, yes, it wasn't Be Prepared. And there you go, the games with Connor are over. It was that simple. A very straightforward thing. I finally pulled into the Vitalisphere for rushing, but youch. Another big youch, what can I say? But yeah, Amber Steel Song in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Even without Shimmering Sky support, really, really good. But you can imagine how amazing it gets once you put Shimmering Sky support in there. And I can vouch now that I've gone against a version of Amber Steel Song that does have support from the new set. It's still terrifying. Very consistent still, very terrifying still. But thank you, Connor, for the games. Thank you, Geek Retreat, for letting me host it. Thank you, Magic Madhouse, for being a partner for the channel. And thank you guys for your amazing support. Like I said, liking, commenting, subscribing, favoriting, sharing, and all that fun jazz is all you need to do to share your support for the channel, the videos, and all that fun jazz. Be sure to check out the description below for my Ko-Fi if you do want to support me any further financially. If you do, I'll never force it on anybody, but it's there as an option if you want to. Outside of all of that as well, we also do have a link to the Discord server if you want to chill out with me and fellow crazy people, where we play games that I only play on the Discord server with people, which you will not get on YouTube. So keep an eye out on that if you want to be a part of that, as well as all the deck lists that I use and my locals and all the experiments that I put out. And you can even post your decks too and share that with people. You can even go over to my TikTok page where I post a lot more Lorcana content for you to enjoy also. Talking about individual cards, talking about spicy tech that you can maybe consider for decks in the future, infinite combos, etc., which you can check out on whenever you wish. And last but not least, of course, checking out any of my other socials there that you may be interested in. But don't forget, comment, subscribe, be a boy, join the squad today and be the most explosive Lorcana player out there. Let me know how your locals are going over in the comments. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys for the next matchup. Until then, I'm TheXploder, you're you. Stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly, stay explosive. I'll be seeing you next time.